I am going to talk about Google Drive today, and we all use Google Drive as a staff. We share documents with one another all the time, folders with one another, but when we went to the iPad Summit, I went to a full day Google training, and one of the things that was their big message was using Google Drive with students. And as I'm sitting there, I'm going, why have I not been doing this? Like, I email things to my kids, they email things to me, but why don't I just put it in Drive with a folder and give them access to it? They all have Drive on their iPads, and they have Google Docs, so they can open anything that you create in Google Docs and put into Google Drive. And I'm going to show you one of the activities that we actually did as adults in this training that I'm going to try using with my students, and it uses Google Drive and NEWSELA, which most of the classroom teachers are familiar with NEWSELA, but if you're not, it's a website where you can go in and you can pick a current event that's happening, and it gives you different lexicons for your grade, but they go anywhere from, you know, a pretty lower level to a pretty complex level. There's usually 3 to 5 lexile options. So, and my computer has been acting up today, so I'm hoping that everything will go smoothly. So I'm going to go into my Drive. And I'm going to do it on here for now, but I'll show you what it looks like on my iPad too. So in my Drive, I have my folders. You could set up one for your students, and in this case, I set up one as my Tech Byte activity just so I wouldn't lose it. And in there, I created 4 documents. Each of those documents is an article, and they're on the same topic. Now, I could tell my students, okay, you're in group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, however I wanted to do that. They would have this file shared with them. They can go into their Drive and open their document. So if they go into group 1, if I assign them to group 1, they open their document, and they see an article. Okay? So every group can do that. And then within that article, I have gone in and I have highlighted some text that I want them to comment on. And you can see it on the side, and I'll show you on my iPad also, comments, and they can reply. So it's a collaborative reading because, you know, Rebecca could reply. At the same time, Caitlin can be replying. Georgia can be replying, and you can read each other's replies on there. They can't edit each other's comments. So once what they put is up there, nobody else can touch it. They can't change it except for the creator of the document. And I would be able to see as the teacher everything that everybody commented on, and their name shows up. So if somebody puts something inappropriate, you're going to be able to see who did it because their name is going to show up. Each of my documents in here is a different lexile. So as we go through, it's the same topic, it's giving them the same information, it's just giving a higher vocabulary, and the titles change. But if you're giving a kid this group, group 1 is going in and picking document 1, group over here, group 2 is going in, 3, 4, unless they really go in and look at all the documents, they're not going to know the difference of which one. And really, if they go in the different one and read it, they're still getting the same information. But afterwards, you can pull all of the kids together and have a discussion based on it because they all just read the same topic. It's giving them the exact same information, just a different level. So if this was their Drive on their iPad, and we have the, looks just like Drive, okay, same as on our computer. They go in, they would select the folder, and they see the groups. It doesn't show them what the article looks like it did in my Drive on my computer. It's just the doc symbol. Group 1 goes in, clicks on it, and the article pops up. The article pops up. I can see who's in there, so just like when we're doing a Google Doc, we can see how many other people are in editing it. As a teacher, I can look and I can see, oh, there are 5 kids editing this document right now. All 5 of them must be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or, oh, there's only 3 in there right now. I wonder what the other 2 are doing. So they can go in. Anything as they read that I've highlighted, they can click on. And it gives them the option to comment. And when they click on that, it is going to bring up my comment. Says this sentence makes me think about other animals that do similar things to the sea turtles. Can you think of any other animals that go to the same place each year? What animal is it and where do they go? They click reply. And then they can start typing their answer in. Once they type their answer in and hit return, whoops, they have to hit the check mark on top as their comment, it shows up. Okay? And they're going to see everything that anybody else is commenting on. Then they can continue scrolling and they're going to see other ones that they can answer also. And then I put one at the very bottom also. So I can see what they're writing, they can see what each other is commenting on, but they're not seeing that everybody else has a different, or each group has a different level article, so it's a good way for differentiation. You could use the same article with each group, or you could do it as a jigsaw where you're giving different topics to each group and having them come back as a discussion. We as adults, a group of, I don't know how many people, 30 people were in there, we did this whole thing. We got to the end and the presenter said, did you know you all had different articles? We looked at each other, no, we didn't, it hadn't even occurred to us that our teacher just gave us all different levels of the article, and we had had a 10-minute discussion about the topic we were reading about. So it really didn't affect it at all. So they could ask each other questions also in there. You could have them do a number of things with that comment section. They could ask you questions, things they're not sure of. They could put in their vocabulary words that they don't understand for you to comment on, or maybe for another classmate to let them know what that means. There's a lot of options that you could do this for. And I know that this is geared more towards the upper elementary kids, and I was really trying to think of some ways that the lower elementary could possibly use this, and I'm kind of stumped, but I'm thinking that with a little brainstorming, maybe we could come up with something, you know, of how you could use this. It would take some more steps, but there's probably a few possibilities in there of sharing things with them.
Well, we could do, kindergarten could do classrooms, like we could all like look at a picture or do something, comment as a classroom.
Right, you could,
It's
definitely.
like individual kids.
Right. And I was talking to Jody, she was trying to do some presentation things she was having issues with, and I suggested that she tried having her kids send it to her through Drive, just because there are options that kids can share it, you know, things in here. She tried it, it didn't work, but it was the first thing that came to my mind of maybe try Drive, especially if you're sending your kids a lot of things. It's a good use of a folder that they all have access to wherever they go, their iPads or, you know, the computer lab or wherever.
Yeah, once you share a folder out once to them, you can put whatever you want in there, and you never have to share it again. Not like if you're emailing them stuff all the time, you know, and then you have to create a new email every time and type kids' names in and whatever. Once they have that folder, no, you can put stuff in there. They can put stuff in there to give it back to you. And I think like primary grades, like if you had your kids, each kid in the class takes a picture of something. Now they can share it to the class folder, and everybody can go in and look at what everybody else shared, you know, the other pictures that they shared, or you could, you know, you have them all in one place, you can share them back with the kids. So
you just want to make sure that when they're sharing that you're putting in, having them, if you don't want anybody else to be able to change anything on it, send it to them as a view only. If you want them to only be able to comment like this was shared as a comment only. But if you're doing something where you want them to be able to edit each other's work, pick that they have editing rights to it also. Otherwise you could have kids changing things, and Google Docs obviously changes everything as soon as you change it. It does, you know, it saves the new version of it. So you just want to make sure of that also.
What's the name of, I wasn't familiar with the site that you were telling us.
NEWSELA.
NEWSELA.
Yep.
Sandra, when you're trying to share it, I guess I'm not very familiar at all with that whole process. Where do I find the kids' names that I want to share it?
If I open open this one. I should be able to share. And it's gonna pop up. All you have to do is enter the student's email address, but I have it set up in my email. I have my class under a group email, so all their emails are in there. I set that up prior, but if you're sending it to like a group of 6 students, you know, you don't want all your kids to have that same document, you would put their emails in. But I think once you put their email in once, it might recognize it, so it might just pop up again for you.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to type the whole thing in. You would just
So, and then over here is where your edit, you wanna make that choice. I think it always defaults to can edit. So you wanna make sure if you don't want them to be able to change your document, that you set it to can comment or just only can view. Any other questions? I am always willing to come in and help you figure it out. If you need to, just give me a little advance notice so that I can come down and I can figure some things out if I'm not sure. Like I said, I hadn't used this much except for professional stuff here, but now I see so many possibilities with how we can use it with kids. That would save me a lot of email time and opening attachments and all that stuff that I see it as a real benefit for what we're trying to do. All right.
Thank you, Sandra.